What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into TNA Impact from March the 13th, 2025. An okay show for the most part. We are going to go over the predictions for Sacrifice. So this was basically the go-home show. Overall, the show was okay. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Eddie Edwards, his lame ass, defeated Leon Slater, which sucks. It is what it is. Who cares? His team will get the advantage. Screw this. Moving on. So, Step the Lander and Mance Warner, they're backstage, taunting Sami Callihan, daring him to hit them since there's no physicality clause, heading into their street fight match at TNA Sacrifice. Who cares about this garbage? I do not care about any of this. Why is TNA still pushing Sami Callihan? Seriously. I thought that he was supposed to be featured in the Jon Moxley Death Riders Takeover storyline in AEW. He's yet to show up there. Can we please get him to show up at AEW so he can get the fuck away from TNA? Can we at least do that, TNA? Please. Oh, boy. I cannot believe it. Moving on, Wes Lee defeats Laredo Kid. He wins via the cardiac kick for the 1-2-3. I wish that Laredo Kid could actually go to NXT for a while. He needs it. Laredo Kid has not done much of anything. He's been with TNA for probably 4 or 5 years now. He's only been digital media champion, I think one time. That was it. He didn't have it long. Or was he X Division champion? I can't remember. It's been so long. But I do wish that TNA would do something with Laredo Kid. I really do. But it seems like they're not going to. That's what it seems like to me. Moving on. Oh no, before we move on, so post-match, the Rascals, along with Ace Austin, they came out. So Zachary Wentz gets on the mic and he says that at TNA Sacrifice, they'll close this chapter once and for all and ship them all back to NXT. Nice, I like that. Moving on, so this leads us into some Spitfire nonsense. So they are backstage, they're talking to Santino Marella. They ask him if he knows what happened, and Santino said it's not very nice. So the Elegance brand, which is Heather and Ashby Elegance, they come up and Ash says they were treated like dogs. So Santino Marella then books a 2-on-3 match at Sacrifice. So it's going to be the personal concierge. He's going to be teaming up with the Elegance brand. Okay. I don't really care about this shit. This is not good. No. Moving on. So, Zaya Brookside, she defeats Rosemary via disqualification. So, Rosemary used the mist in front of the referee's face. She spit mist in Zaya Brookside's face. The referee calls for the bell. That's how Zaya won. And then Zaya was about to use the steel chain that Rosemary brought in the ring, and the referee stopped her, and that's how Zaya won the match. Okay. I don't really care about this at all. I really don't. At this point in time, can we make Rosemary a producer, please? Moving on. So we get a vignette for Steve Maclin. He's writing into a book, basically a diary, sharing drinks with Eric Young. Oh, God. Steve Maclin says as long as he's with the Northern Armory, he can't be with him. Pause. Whoa. So Steve Maclin says He has respect for Eric Young, and then Steve Maclin leaves, and then Eric Young smiles. Who cares about this shit? Can we please just get rid of both Eric Young and Steve Maclin, please? Like, seriously. Steve Maclin should be in, I wouldn't say AEW, but NWA or MLW or something like that. That's where he needs to be. Moving on. So, worthless Cody Deaner, he showed up. He says it's great to be back in Orlando. He says a year ago his personal life was fantastic, but his professional life wasn't so good. Cody Deaner said that he's put his choice in the hands of the people. So JDC says these people don't care about his children or about him. JDC says all he cares about is his match at Sacrifice. He tells Deaner to take the loss, be a man, and not be a disappointment to his children, which is hilarious because Deaner sucks. This is so good. So Deaner says it's the people's choice. And Deaner asks if he should leave and let the referee count to 10, or if he should punch JDC in the face 10 times. So then this leads into JDC defeating Cody Deaner. He wins via the Falcon Arrow. Who gives a shit? Fuck this shit. This is a waste of fucking time. It really is. Moving on, so Tessa Blanchard and Cora Jade, they defeat Masha Slamovich and Li Ying Lee, aka Zia Lee. So this match was pretty decent. Tessa gets the win via the buzzsaw. Towards the end of the match, basically, Cora Jade and Zia Lee are on the outside. They're fighting, and somehow Cora Jade is able to bring in the knockout title. She hits Masha in the face with it, and then Tessa hits the buzzsaw. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this makes sense. It seems like they're going to do at Rebellion. It's going to be Tessa Blanchard versus Masha Slamovich. That makes perfect sense. This is what needs to happen. I don't think that that Tessa will win their first match at Rebellion. I think she'll probably end up winning the title at probably Slammiversary in July. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Moving on. Best thing on this show. It was the summit between Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana. So the summit was moderated by Tom Hannafin. So Mustafa Ali, he's got backup in the form of Tasha Steelz and the Great Hands. So Mustafa Ali says the bigger picture is TNA. Ali says they need a leader. Ali says that he's here to knock down walls into pebbles for future generations to come. He says Mike Santana can't handle the pressure. Mike Santana says he's been handling pressure his entire life. Mike Santana then talks about going through the system and defeating Josh Alexander. So Tom Hannafin then points out that Mike Santana has not been beaten in 6 months. Mustafa Ali says handling pressure is facing adversity. Mustafa Ali says that Mike Santana is not a leader. He's a liability, and even worse than that, he's an addict. So Mike Santana said that he's full of shit and that he's not here for the people, the locker room, or TNA. He's here for himself, that being Mustafa Ali. Mike Santana says that he's an addict for the people and for this company. Mike Santana says that for every addict that's out there, he's shown that it's possible to hit the bottom and rise. So Mike Santana says that Sacrifice, Mustafa Ali's hands better cash these checks. Ali says that there's too much tension in here and offers him a drink. Ali says at Sacrifice he's going to lose and he's going to face adversity. He's going to break and he's going to let everyone down. And then he said that Mike Santana is going to break his daughter's heart. So then this irate Mike Santana, he gets into a brawl with the Good Hands. He almost hits Tasha Steelz, and then Mustafa Ali and the Good Hands, they get the jump on Mike Santana and they beat him to a pulp. And then Ali pours some wine in a glass, and then he smirks, and then he dips out. So this is great. This is really good shit here. I love this. It's tremendous. Tremendous shit. Great stuff here. Moving on. Main event of the evening. Joe Hendry, he calls out Santino Marella. He wants to know who his opponent is going to be. So Santino Marella ends up coming out. He's about to announce Joe Hendry's opponent. Ryan Nemeth, his sorry ass, shows up. He says that his big brother is going to return to TNA in one day. He says that his big brother transferred over his rematch to him. So Joe Hendry quickly defeats Ryan Nemeth in about 5 to 10 seconds. He wins via the standing ovation. And then Santino Marella says that that Ryan Nemeth was not his surprise opponent that he had in mind. And then he introduces Hammerstone. So Joe Hendry defeats Hammerstone via the standing ovation. He wins, and he retains the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then it's a massive brawl that ensues involving the System, the Hardys, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, and Elias, aka Elisha. And that was it. Hammerstone is no longer with TNA. Apparently his contract expired, and I guess TNA didn't want to renew it. He was only there for a year. It sucks that Hammerstone's gone from TNA, but I could easily see him going to NXT for sure. I doubt he'll go to AEW. That wouldn't make any sense, but that's just me. But TNA needs to be smart about who they bring in. They should have locked Hammerstone at least into like a 2-year deal. I know he mentioned on Twitter that he really wasn't injured like that. So, I don't know what happened there, but it sucks that TNA lost Hammerstone. But it is what it is. He'll definitely be in NXT for sure. So, let's get into the predictions for Sacrifice. So, we've got 10 matches, which is way too many. So that means we're going to have probably 2 matches on the pre-show. So we have Octagon Jr. and Laredo Kid taking on First Class, which is AJ Francis and Casey Navarra. First Class is going to win that one. Who really cares about this? It's a waste of time. Moving on. Steve Maclin versus Frankie Kazarian. Steve Maclin's going to probably win. No, Frankie Kazarian's probably going to end up winning that with the help of Eric Young and crew. So, yeah. Who cares? Hopefully that will be on the pre-show. Moving on. Sami Callihan versus Mance Warner. Street fight. I don't care who wins this. Neither guy is over. Lance has been in TNA for about a month and a half now. When he debuted on the January 23rd edition of TNA. So, like I say, I don't care who wins this at all. I'm going to go with, I guess, Mance Warner if I had to pick somebody, but I don't really give a shit about it. It shouldn't even be on the card, if we're being honest. Moving on. Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana. Mustafa Ali needs to win this one. It makes sense. Again, Mike Santana, I like him. He's a good talent, but he needs to be kind of in the mid-card. If he were to become world champion, I could only see him being champion for maybe about 3 months. Nothing beyond that, but that's just me. So hopefully this turns into a feud. I really do like what they're doing. I'm loving the story they're telling between Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana. It's great. I love how Ali's bringing up Mike Santana's addictions and everything. That's great. Good stuff. Moving on, Spitfire, Danny Luna and Jody Threat versus Ash by Elegance, Heather by Elegance, and the personal concierge, which is George Iceman. 2-on-3 handicap match for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Ash and Heather should win this one. Why wouldn't they? Moving on. Tessa Blanchard versus Lei Ying Lee, a.k.a. Xia Li. Tessa Blanchard obviously makes perfect sense. Moving on. Moose versus Jeff Hardy, ladder match for the TNA Exhibition Championship. Jeff Hardy, like, why wouldn't he win? That makes the most sense. Hopefully Moose can impress me. He did very well with his match against Obafemi this past Tuesday on NXT Roadblock. So hopefully he can go 2 for 2 with this one. Masha Samovich versus Cora Jade for the Knockout World Championship. Masha Samovich, obviously. Moving on. The Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz and Ace Austin versus Wes Lee, Tyson and Tyreek. The Rascals need to win this. Main event of the evening. Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy, Elijah, Leon Slater, and Nick Nemeth versus The System, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, JDC, and the Colognes, Eddie Colon and Orlando Colon. Steel Cage. It's basically set up like War Games. Who wins this? Probably the baby faces. But hopefully we'll get some surprises. We'll have to wait and see, though. We'll have to wait and see. But Sacrifice should be an okay TNA Plus event. But we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. But what did you guys think of TNA? And what are your predictions for Sacrifice? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.